रेलेवेंस से दिया निकाल, सरकारी कानून टुल्लू की मार, लॉयर की फी और टैक्स से हलाल, करा देना मामला एडजर्न्ड।
मैं तेरा, मेरे शेयर्स तेरे, मेरे शेयर होल्डर्स तेरे, मेरे माइनॉरिटी शेयर होल्डर्स तेरे, अब बचा क्या? That's pretty much what Prannoy Roy and Radhika Roy want to tell you. But that's not it. Clearly, that's not it. There's more to the story. And for that, we have a wonderful panel today with us. We have with us Danish and Ronak, who are from the finance industry. And Ronak has a very keen interest in the finance industry and also has been in the content space for the longest time. So
His
welcome
name is Ronak, brother.
Ronak, right?
No, that's the branding. It's not Ronak. Right?
Oh, it's not Ronak.
It's not Ronak.
It's
It's
Ronit.
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 Yeah.
But you, I read it Ronak everywhere.
मैं वो
कोई
कह रहा हूँ,
नहीं।
government IDs को ये वो
हर
सब
जगह
जगह
same
change
चीज
करता
same
है।
चीज
Well, Ronit, welcome to. So welcome.
स्टार्टिंग में बकचोदी हो गई यार.
Welcome to Adjourned Podcast, and let's have a nice roll about what is going on with NDTV and the Adani takeover.
Yeah.
Dhruv Rathi and several other YouTube creators have already covered that what has happened. You should check them out. Maybe get an information about how it all happened. When did the NDTV owners secure a loan? When did it again convert into transferable warrants? And then from Ambani to Adani, how did the story pan out to the point that now Adani is essentially the owner? If not now, probably a couple of days from now, he will be the owner, and that's an eventuality.
Yeah.
Do you think that he knows, like, he was in cahoots with this plan, not right now, but probably a decade ago?
Not like a decade ago, but for sure, I mean, like, this was very well planned of him. I think Adani has, so you'll have to just, so before we actually get into this whole, transaction, it's also really important to understand Adani's background.
You want to lay down the context?
Yeah, I just want to lay down the context, like, for everybody to understand, like, how legally well guarded this individual is, right? And I don't know, I don't want to get into legal battles with Adani, but in all fairness, I mean, his son, Karan Adani, is married to Cam's daughter. So, for anybody, all those corporate...
Who's Cam?
Cyril,
Acha, okay.
Amarchand Das, Mangal Das, for however you want. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know the full form, I mean...
Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas.
Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas, right?
Yeah.
So his daughters. So if you look at the this NDTV takeover, Cam is sort of advising them. So they've got the best legal brains behind them, and obviously, I mean, Prannoy Roy and Radhika Roy. I mean, who are they going to go to, right? I mean, who are you going to go to in order to safeguard your interests? But at the end of the day, I mean, it was a very well planned, thought over, takeover. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's just the way the cost of capital in our country is high. So obviously NDTV also didn't have a lot of options while they were taking this 400 odd crore loan. So even if you look into the history of this loan, they essentially took this loan around about 2008-2009 from India Bulls Housing Finance.
You're
right?
talking about
NDTV. So let's get back.
NDTV did not take a loan.
Let's
really have the context.
I'll just tell you what the context was, like how this transaction panned out. So NDTV was looking at purchasing roughly 7.7% of their company shares, and so they set up this company RRPR, right, which has 26% holding. And they decided that, in order to buy these 7% shares or whatnot, we will have to take a loan, right? Because that's how they wanted to go about it. Obviously, they didn't have their own capital. So they took a loan from India Bulls.
It was 29.18 if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, roughly around that. So they took a loan from India Bulls Housing Finance, which was back in 2008-2009. This was around about the housing crash. Then what ended up happening is obviously India Bulls was calling back their loans, right? So they ended up refinancing their loan from ICICI Bank. So ICICI Bank gave them an interest of 19%. And they were like, 19% ka loan, I mean, obviously at the end of the day, for any business, 19% interest rate is excruciatingly high. And then came in VCPL, right? VCPL is the company which apparently is linked to Ambani, right? So they came in as a saving grace. And
was with Ambani at the time.
VCPL was with Ambani at that time. It was basically a shell company which was structured by Ambani in order to route in the money. So basically Ambani came in as a saving grace to NDTV to give them a collateral-free 400 crore loan which was interest-free. So basically what ended up happening is ICICI Bank ka jo loan tha, वो बंद हो गया and they got a interest free loan from VCPL, which was related to the Reliance Group, Ambani at the end of the day. And in giving this interest free loan in these favorable terms, what they asked for was reps and warranties for the shareholding. So then, come to today, Adani basically acquired VCPL, and now they have executed the reps and warranties, and now they've got into the company. So now they hold 29% stake, 29, 26, whatever it is, 29% stake, and then they've made an open offer to. Essentially, what happens is if there's a company, right? If there is anybody who owns, so 75% and above is super majority, 76% is super majority. That means, the other shareholders mean fuck all. So 76% अगर आपके पास है, you can do anything you want with the company, right? You do not need minority shareholders के ज़्यादा interest नहीं. But in this situation, they now own 29%, right? So if they own 29%, they are obviously, the other shareholders are not in a significant majority, and they can't really do anything about things here. So that's the situation that, the company is in today.
So to lay down the chronology very clearly in brief terms,
Yeah.
NDTV is a company which is a news broadcasting agency having a news channel
Yeah.
before 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
In 2008, they take a loan from India Bulls. In order to...
Now, if you even want to go even deeper, because see, these are all conspiracy theories that me and him were discussing over Daru last night. India Bulls is a company. Okay, so Sameer Gehlot is the owner of India Bulls, right? Everybody knows that. IIT guy, self-made, all of that. His mother is a BJP woman. Okay? Now, you can make all these, correlations in your head that India Bulls aa gayi, they ruined NDTV. ये सब हो सकता है. But who knows? Again, it's just a parallel story here. But, yeah.
So, in order to return the loan that they had from India Bulls at that time,
Yeah.
they took a loan from ICICI.
Yeah.
Which
India Bulls was calling back the loans. They were like, yeah, 2008, 2009, things aren't going well for us. So this happens a lot with banks, right? So probably they weren't, terms weren't favorable, या जो भी है. So they refinance the loan. So what ends up happening is, like, let's say I have a $100 loan from Ronit today, and I decide कि, ये मेरे को 5% interest पे दे रहा है, but you are giving me at a 2% interest rate. The same loan, 100 rupees का. So I'm like, I'll be like, ठीक है, I'll foreclose this loan, I'll go to you basically. So you will basically pay this bank the money out, and अब मैं तुम्हें पैसे दे रहा हूँगा, but at a 2% interest rate. So it's favorable for me, right?
Right.
And I'll be saving, instead of paying 105 rupees, I'll be paying 102.
So, sure.
Yeah.
I think now the genesis of where the loan came from, कि Prannoy Roy ने पैसा कहाँ से उठाना शुरू करा था,
Yeah.
किस लिए किया था, that's another story which I don't think anybody has the answer to even as of today.
Yeah.
If you have theories, we would like more conspiracy theories for sure.
No, it's basically, it was to buy some stake in the company. See, there's two ways like an individual can buy stake in a company. Like उसके पास खुद के पैसे हों तो उसने शेयर खरीद लिए. Like let's say कि you own 7% in NDTV today, I want to buy it. मेरे पास खुद के पैसे पड़े, मैं लगा लिए. दूसरा हो सकता है कि मैंने रोनित से उधार पे लिया पैसा और फिर खरीद लिया शेयर. तो उन्होंने ये चीज़ करी थी. This is what they did. They basically, so any promoter at the end of the day wants more shareholding in his company, right? He is delivering value in the company. He's putting his sweat, blood into the company. He wants to increase his stake for whatever reasons, probably to, because he sees that there's future potential in the business or whatnot.
Well,
and there is future potential at the end of the day. 500 रुपये का stock हो गया यार.
अगर है, and I'm sure even at that point of time उन्होंने financial call जो ली है, loan लेके अपनी company का stock बना के, even then, like, it feels like something was created which cannot be explained, which is the stakes that the couple Prannoy and Radhika owned in NDTV were in their personal capacity.
Yeah.
But then a company is made.
Yeah.
A company is made RRPR,
Yeah.
which acquires a stake in NDTV.
Yeah.
And a loan is also taken
Yeah.
from all these financial institutions, ICICI, India Bulls,
Yeah.
VCPL.
Yeah.
And then this company basically says that you can acquire a 99% in case the loan is not paid.
No, but Anshu, let me ask you this. Today, you are giving me a loan. तू मुझे 100 रुपए का loan देता है आज. You are in, nobody is so dumb that you're going to give me a collateral free loan ना.
Yeah.
तू बोलेगा अच्छा घर गिरवी रख अपना. Give me something to hold on to ना. Tomorrow you don't pay me the money. I mean, I need something to hold on to. Now, if anybody is giving so RRPR is also 100% owned by Radhika Roy, Prannoy Roy. 99 point something. I mean, इतना शेयर होल्डिंग है उसकी. और कुछ और लोग होंगे इंटरनल. बट व्हाट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड इज कि अगर VCPL ने लोन दिया उन्हें,
VCPL ने उनको 403 करोड़ रुपए का लोन दिया
अगर
उस टाइम पे.
VCPL ने लोन दिया उन्हें 403 करोड़ का, so they will, it's in their best interest to ask for these reps and warranties. What if they, they don't give them the 400 crore even if it's interest free, नहीं मिलते उन्हें पैसे, they weren't able to recover it. So it was a smart move by VCPL. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it also goes on to show that NDTV is not, like, I don't know if you follow NDTV, but like...
I do, and NDTV's image in the market is that
It's
it
pretty
is
clean, right?
it's a free यहाँ पे जो काम कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पे जो जर्नलिस्ट हैं,
Yeah.
वो फ्री स्पीच को पुश करते हैं,
Yeah.
and not anything else.
But even if you look...
It's a journalist owned organization.
But even if you look, जो award उन्होंने दिया था, I think there was Best Businessman Award or something that they gave. They gave it to Ambani, right? And I mean, now you can like connect the dots, right? I mean, there was a saving grace.
Can we say in all...
Awards तो यार it's
मतलब-
paid. It's
मतलब
no
what
panel decided
I'm
on
trying to
जितना
what I'm
ज़्यादा
trying to
पैसा
get at is कि भाई at the end of the day ये
NDTV was never ever
Yeah,
a free
it was-
organization as it portrayed.
That's
Which
true.
brings us to a very good question that भाई प्रणॉय रॉय, राधिका रॉय इतने बड़े आदमी थे. Is it in any way possible कि उनको पता नहीं होगा who were they getting in bed into? Sure, they sold their soul to Ambani for 403 crores of an interest-free loan back in 2008. However, अंबानी और अडानी के बीच में क्या डील हुई, दैट इज अनदर कॉन्स्पिरेसी थ्योरी कम whatever is going on in terms of the दुनिया का, देश का सबसे बड़ा financial battle which is going on. All theories aside, how is it not possible that they did not see this coming and they did not know कि ऐसा is not a matter of, like their legal advisor either Prannoy Roy is a complete idiot कि उसको धंधा चलाना आता ही नहीं है, कि उसने अपना धंधा बेच ही दिया, पूरा खत्म कर दिया, or else he's smart enough that whatever narrative he's giving at this point of time is an absolute sham. मतलब that is कि भाई मैं जितना बेवकूफ बना सकता हूँ मैं बना लेता हूँ.
I mean, see, if I don't know, मतलब, do you want to pitch in here, Ronit?
See bro, कोई भी न्यूज़पेपर हो या ऐसे टीवी न्यूज़ वाला सीन हो ना, एडिटोरियल डिसीजंस हमेशा लिए जाते हैं, बिकॉज चलो ठीक है, you owe 400 crores to Reliance, but Reliance also spends on you and what not, and वो रहता है कि अच्छा ये story is it important enough, मैं
जैसे अंबानी के
एंगल, कितना गंदा एंगल दूं,
जैसे पूरे मीडिया ने ब्लैकआउट कर दिया था जब अंबानी के बेटे ने गाड़ी ठोकी थी पी के बॉम्बे में. I'm sure NDTV also didn't cover it.
वही हो जाता है कि मतलब कितना कवरेज दे, 10 मिनट का कवरेज दे, आधे घंटे का कवरेज दे.
Exactly.
So news या 5th page.
But how I see it, I mean, in
Something grey is definitely prompted because
यार मतलब see, you have to look at NDTV की, NDTV if you open 9 बजे 8 बजे,
थोड़ा सा माइक पास कर लो.
अच्छा, is it fine now?
Yeah.
So NDTV तुम कभी भी खोलो, even prime time के दौरान, like you will see ads, ठीक है? Prannoy Roy, Radhika Roy, Prannoy, how old is he? 70, roughly 70.
He's pretty old.
Yeah, he must be in his 70s होगा, ठीक है? I don't think he has any succession planning in place. Who he's going to give the business to? See, hostile takeover हुआ, everybody knows hostile takeover हुआ, but he's made a bang. He's made bomb money out of it also, यार. You have to keep that in mind. He's not getting ripped off here.
2015 में Caravan ने रिपोर्ट पब्लिश कर दी थी कि this is what's going on.
Yeah.
And Caravan, like an investigative journalism organization that they are, they had published several details about what all is going on. As of today, जो current shareholding NDTV की है, which is 29.18%, is officially with Adani AMG through AMG, which is the
AMG
media company of Adani Corporation. Then another 4.42% is with Vishaka EIF India. Then LTS Investment Fund has 9.75%.
Now LTS Investment Funds is another Mauritius-based fund, which essentially
and Vishaka as well, जिनका 98% backing is by Adani.
is Adani. तो वो तो खत्म ही हो गया ना system. मतलब it's already Adani.
It's already with Adani.
Yeah.
Through an indirect way.
Yeah.
एंड देर आर अदर इन्वेस्टर्स 12.5% आर रिटेल
Yeah,
इन्वेस्टर्स जिन्होंने अच्छे से अभी पिछले 3-4 महीने में पैसा छापा है.
मस्त छापा है
17
भाई.
times the value grew. So that is probably more than Bitcoin at this point of time.
Yeah.
जिन्होंने लगाया था.
Yeah, easy. We were seeing the growth of the stock 40, 40, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60, 100, 500.
सीधा इतना बड़ा जंप आया.
क्या हो रहा है भाई?
So that has happened. As a financial person, you both have knowledge about what sort of measures corporates or people heading the corporate ladders know that they are supposed to create one organization in order to root something shady. 2005 में RRPR ने इस्टेब्लिश किया था E186 GK1 में अपना ऑफिस. दैट इज द ऑफिशियल रजिस्टर्ड एड्रेस ऑफ RRPR. वहाँ पे अगर हज़ारों नहीं तो 100 कंपनियां लगभग उसी बेसमेंट से चलती हैं. लाइक दैट इज एज पर द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स का वेबसाइट. इज इट नॉट as clear as possible that shady shit was started by Prannoy Roy?
नहीं यार, you can't put it down to that. Because see,
do so many more things just to, you know.
Because see, at the end of the day, what happens is, let's say कि you have a chartered accountant, right? And you go to your chartered accountant like यार company खोलनी है, and I don't have a office of my own. तो आपने उनका एड्रेस डाल दिया. Now if his address is like वो 4-5 और कंपनीज को खोल देते हैं ऐसे with his own address, I mean you can't like really start pointing fingers onto people कि यार these guys are doing something shady because they share like same address.
By all means, I understand the fact कि वहाँ पे नहीं है.
Yeah.
But this is not just any other company जो एक नेहरू प्लेस के छोटी सी दुकान से 100 अलग अलग चीज़ लगा रही है. एक चाइना माल इंपोर्ट कर रहा है.
Yeah.
एक क्या कहते हैं चाइना से माल एक्सपोर्ट चाइना से माल इंपोर्ट करके कहीं सऊदी अरेबिया दुबई में माल एक्सपोर्ट कर रहा है. दिस इज़ NDTV, द प्राइम न्यूज़ इंफॉर्मेशन एजेंसी इन द कंट्री which is questioning, and उसके owners का proper 100% stake which has been in the middle of several legal troubles right, left and center. Like you name an institution and they have probably gone after NDTV. ED was behind them, income tax was behind them, SEBI has been behind them. In some cases they got relief, in some cases they did not.
Yeah.
So if I look at the narrative, इन्होंने पिछले 4-5-6 साल से अच्छे से लीगल बैटल्स किया. हाउएवर दे आर फ्री, दे आर हैविंग अ गुड लाइफ. प्रणॉय रॉय, राधिका रॉय आज भी घर पे बैठ के मस्त बिना शक्कर की चाय पी रहे होंगे.
Yeah.
हाउएवर several attacks happened on them. So the narrative is built कि NDTV is a prime institution जो देश को क्वेश्चन करता है. इसको रवीश कुमार को रेमन मैगसेसे अवार्ड मिल गया, द फाइनेस्ट जर्नलिस्ट इन द होल वर्ल्ड एज ऑफ दैट मोमेंट. देन today we know कि Adani is buying it, and
Yeah.
the connection between Adani and Modi is not like somebody needs to spell it out कि अच्छा नहीं उनके बीच में तो कुछ नहीं है या कुछ है. Like it's a matter of truth now that Adani as the leading industry, like he's the third richest man in the whole world right now. Like let's be clear about that.
Yeah.
like वो फाड़ रहा है देश का
Yeah.
या अच्छे से. What makes us think that there is absolutely no way that they could have stopped this or probably started their own admission of what they have done way back in order to not let this happen, which we are now saying is the death of institutional media?
Well, Anshul, I think iska na answer would be in the coming weeks and months. I'll tell you how. Because at the end of the day, you'll see how aggressively they are pursuing this legal battle. See, if they're pursuing it like left, right and center, engaging lawyers, hounding SEBI ki nahi, this is our company, I mean, this can't be done, all of that, then you pretty much know, I mean, these buggers really want their business back.
In terms of corporate law, do you think that there is any infraction that could have been committed through Adani's which can invalidate this?
Yeah, I also see it in this way. Like when you have got best see, in India is a jurisdiction where if you've got good representation, you can do a bunch of things. That there's a reason why Sahara, I mean, everybody knows, I mean, the curious case of Sahara and how he's been, just through the battery of lawyers that he had. But at the end of the day, I mean, how I see it is, if these guys are really serious about their business, really preserving their business, which I don't think at this point, I mean, they've made some, I mean, even a hostile takeover हुआ तब भी cash तो आएगा ना. I mean, we've got some hard cash, right? So, and जो इनने open offer किया, I mean, it's highly likely that Radhika Roy and Prannoy Roy would be selling their stake. मतलब they would be dumb not to. द अदर वे कुड बी कि 294 रुपीज़ का जो उन्होंने ओपन ऑफर बार है वो LTF वगैरह ये जो दूसरी फंड थी मॉरिशस वाली यही बेच दिया अडानी को. दैट वुड बी सुपर फन टू वॉच दो. बट लाइक वही अपने आप को एक दूसरे को बेच रहे हैं. बट LTCG आ जाएगा यार उससे. बट लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन्स टैक्स उन्हीं पे मतलब डबल हो जाएगा. आई डोंट नो.
As people who have been very much in touch with mergers and acquisitions,
Yeah.
what do you think the role of an investor plays in terms of how much influence he'll have on an organization? Let's say अब 51% आ गया अडानी के पास.
Yeah.
What happens? Like, do you
51%
think
is
autonomy चली जाएगी in terms of content that NDTV can come up with right now?
यार पहले तो ये पब्लिकली लिस्टेड कंपनी है. 51% इज मेजॉरिटी. ठीक है. ऊपर से 17.5% 20% जो भी है रिटेल में होगा और कुछ इंस्टीट्यूशनल इन्वेस्टर्स के पास होगा. मोटा मोटा आई मीन इन्हीं के पास से होगा. अडानी के पास ही से होगा एट द एंड ऑफ द डे. सो आई मीन इफ इट्स अ प्राइवेट कंपनी यू हैव 51%, somebody else owns the rest 49, then it's a tricky game भाई.
नहीं, and even talking in terms of the content, right? अदानी ने खरीद लिया होगा NDTV, बट अदानी इवन एज अ बिजनेसमैन नोज जो व्यूअर्स है NDTV के वो कैसे लोग हैं, एंड दे विल ओनली वॉच NDTV बिकॉज उस तरह का न्यूज़ वो लोग निकालते हैं. अगर वो
रवीश
viewers चले गए
वो व्यूअर्स भी चले ही जाएंगे because if content starts getting censored against the government.
Okay, then
Adani won't be
Adani
do-
loses out on all the money he
Exactly.
invested, right?
He won't be so dumb
won't
to
do it,
burn
he'll do
it.
subtly.
Yeah.
ऐसे हल्के में समझ में नहीं आएगा.
He won't be so dumb to number one, you know, go
अचानक
this
से वो
whole
TV
way.
18 या
You
Times
know,
Now नहीं बनेगा.
I mean, see, इतना भी, you know, at the end of the day, nobody is going to, a businessman of his stature is not going to have, I mean, he's going to have money at his disposal, but he's not going to put that money to work like this, you know, to shit. I mean, he's going to put money and he's going to see returns coming out, right? अगर उसको, if he wanted to put money to shit, he would have put it in a bond, यार. मतलब किसी भी कंट्री के बॉन्ड में डाल देता वो पैसे ही उसको स्टेबल रिटर्न मिल जाते.
I at this point of time think that I'm not creatively smart enough to think what Adani will or will not do with his money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that guy has stood the test of every rebellion against him in any part of the world, including
Yeah.
Australia, mining, then Brazil,
Getting
then-
kidnapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stood that as well. So like, I
So
mean,
Adani क्या करेगा क्या नहीं करेगा I think is something, मतलब या तो जो बात कर रहा हो बिल्कुल ही गधा हो या उसको डर लगने से बिल्कुल वो हो गया है that he's gonna say something and then the next thing he knows is the story is already like over because अब सब कुछ ही बीजेपी के पास है तो तुम कुछ उल्टा बोलो.
exactly.
That will play out. What are your views on free press in the country? India ranks 150 on a list of 183 countries in free press in India.
This guy's a press guy. He's going to tell you
So,
about it.
so that's
See,
like
I honestly believe after social media now, all this newspaper shit, matlab, there's no point having that.
newspaper shit तो still like
It's going
there.
on. It's growing as a market.
But
But
like,
at
traditional-
least for me, I would say, and like in my social circles, हमारे कोई फायदा नहीं है न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ के अगर हमारे पास हाथ में फ़ोन है. And उसके ऊपर I would rather pay for local news.
Do you pay for any local news right
Print.
now?
I pay.
You have a subscription of the print, and you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I create news, brother. I'm creating news.
So yeah, when you have that subscription model, tab I think it's, you know, and you believe in that kind of thing, it's fine, you know.
Well, it's good to know that you have a subscription of the print, which is doing good work,
Yeah.
have the right articles and the right questions for governments. But
Again, all of that can always be debated, but at least they're doing something, and there are some things I agree with them. And there's what I like is at least they're open to being wrong.
it's not like the wire.
हाँ, वायर थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो जाता है. वायर काफ़ी ज़्यादा हो जाता है.
Wire goes like too much into the investigation, and then like they start criticizing कि इन्होंने नमक भी टाटा खाया, मतलब ये बिके हुए हैं. Like they can go to that extent, you know, like if you're reading a Wire article, कहीं ना कहीं एक line ऐसी आएगी, and I was like नहीं यार, like this is too much. So what do you see as the future of like traditional institutional media having its death in front of you with the last mainstream channel being?
नहीं, उसका मार्केट भी रहेगा, इसका मार्केट भी रहेगा.
There's no
जो
market.
traditional media है.
There is no market for people like Sudhir Chaudhary and all these people who Okay, I took a name. But there is no place in the market for these people. These people aren't really making news. They're not even making sensationalism. They're just feeding into that nonsense 9 p.m. crunch time show कि अच्छा बाप घर पे आया है, उसको दाल रोटी चाहिए, कटे हुए प्याज चाहिए, आओ देखते हैं कि सुधीर चौधरी कैसे बताता है कि देश में हिंदू मुसलमान की लड़ाई में हिंदू जीतेगा, मुसलमान हारेगा.
नहीं, बट वही गेम प्लान तो वही है ना, बिकॉज पहले क्या होता था, एवरी न्यूज चैनल यूज्ड टू कम्पीट विद एवरी न्यूज चैनल. Now these guys, especially after Rundown, they're competing with One Plus, Star Plus, all these other drama channels, right? And that's why you get the TRP ratings at the. ठीक है, वो सब that's also paid for, but that's the plan कि तुम इतना dramatize कर दो, because एक तरफ से social media is attacking too. Anybody and everybody can come up with content in that sense and give you the knowledge there because it's free. मतलब
Because of this, there have been.
से निकाल लो, काम खत्म हो गया तुम्हारा. तो वही है.
Because of this, there's definitely an opportunity for creators that they have now content. Dhruv Rathi is thriving. Then we have the Desh Bhakt. Then we have people from the other spectrum also. The Sam Sharma show. So like it gives people more opportunity because you are now bored. Ki bhai all these news channels are just repeating the same. Hindu Musalman, Hindu Khatre mein hai. Acha, Modi ji is the best PM. Yogi Adityanath ki takrar. Amit Shah the greatest person. Like चापलूसी कर रहे हैं, like let's be honest about that there's no mincing words or even a need to feel कि how can I say that.
And even in terms of like from a content creator, a news model and a organizational model, वहाँ पे पैसा TRP से नहीं आता है, वहाँ पे पैसा advertising से आता है. So they are always at the whims of making editorial decisions based on what the advertising money is coming from. But with content creators, it's all through the community, right? You're always making decisions कि okay मैं इस तरह का content बनाऊंगा because my community likes it or does not like it. But हाँ, you can say to an extent.
There are traditional news agencies which like there are people from all these agencies who used to like at a point of time be a part of let's say some news channel or the other, and now they've established agencies.
Faye D'Souza. She's doing great work.
She's
right
doing
now.
my favorite journalist was Saurabh Dwivedi. Like not a journalist, but he was into the Hindi scene for the longest time, and he used to show up at JLF. He used to show up at places, and he used to cover events like that. Now he's running the Lullan Top, which is like thriving as an organization. Like subscriber count.
It's also somehow related to some corporate, right? It's related to. I don't know. I think it's related to Reliance, if I'm not.
It's said that they are in cahoots with the BJP again.
Damn.
But so far as I've seen, अभी तक उनका कंटेंट मेरे को ऐसा लगा नहीं है कि बिकॉज वो यूपी जाते हैं तो फिर वो पूरा अच्छे से रोड को खोद के दिखाते हैं कि देखो आपके राज में ये हो रहा है, आपके राज में. समधीश भाटिया
that's pretty good.
Great. Like he is the flag bearer for woke people in Delhi to find कि गटर में क्या हो रहा है, because he is doing all of those things. So एक opportunity बन गई है, I get it, and accordingly the future, like we say at our company, that the future belongs to content creators. Like Mr. Beast has come up and now he is not just a content creator, वो burger भी बेचता है.
अलग लेवल पे उसने, मैं इसको यही बता रहा था
कल.
Mr. Beast है तुम्हारे पास Mr. Beast Reacts है तुम्हारे पास, Mr. Beast Gaming है, and then this main thing is in like 15 different languages.
And that's just his content. अब वो products में आ गया है. Now he has chocolates. Mr. Beast Feast.
Burger as well.
A burger joint. He's the guy who opened 300 burger joints in the country in one day.
Fucking crazy.
And he's now coming up with merch. So like he's doing all of that cool stuff.
Oh yeah, he's basically applied what all these Ola, Ubers or your deliveries, your blitzscaling strategy होती है वो content में लगा दिया.
हाँ, but at the same point in time, like if you see all these people who've done great, they are active on a particular platform, that's Twitter. Like when all traditional media, traditional platforms fail you, Twitter comes to the rescue. Like आज के time पे you want to get like the absolute truth कि वहाँ पे क्या चल रहा है about any event or anywhere, you just have to tweet the keywords and like you have it in front of you कि अच्छा यहाँ पे ये चल रहा है. And it's quicker than any breaking news ever.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like शायद उनके बीच में लड़ाई हो जाएगी कि रिपब्लिक वालों के बीच में और कौन है सारे जितने भी जी न्यूज़ वगैरह के कि कौन पहले ब्रेक करेगा. बट उस ज़मीन में क्या मूर्तियाँ गड़ी हुई थी नहीं गड़ी हुई थी, लाइक दे आर ऑन ट्विटर बिफोर हैंड. लाइक तो द इकोनॉमी हैज़ चेंज्ड कॉर्पोरेट्स खरीद चुके हैं जितना भी ट्रेडिशनल प्लेटफॉर्म्स था, जितने भी फॉरवर्ड टेक फ्रेंडली लोग हैं, 35-year-old people who understand technology, who understand blockchain, who understand crypto, understand that tech integration नहीं करोगे धंधे का तो दुकान बंद करने की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी. This tells us that the government is doing something wrong, because as much opportunity it's giving to people who are tech friendly and all this, it's also not safeguarding the interests of a generation of people who have fought their battles for roti kapda makan. Where does the financial institutions go then? Like, you see Shark Tank and you see crazy valuations for a golgappa seller who has the only innovation that uska pani machine mein ghulta hoga, and that's why it's automated in the name of it. But there are probably like 100 more golgappa walas which can do a better job, better than the machine, but there is no appreciation from the government, from financial institutions, and neither it is being covered by any of the financial influencers we see in the country today. Like, every fintech influencer right now, like, you can see the spectrum of apps or the services that they're going to prescribe. आप Jupyter में account बना लीजिए. Like, we have this guy, Finance with Charan. Then Neha Nagar, taxation.help. And Finance with Charan के बाद तो मेरे को लगता है शायद 1000 account आ गए हैं जो Finance with XYZ कर रहे हैं. So everybody is like prescribing to the same spectrum.
Yeah.
These people aren't really interested in anything. They have now sold their soul कि हम.
मेरे को ये लगता है थोड़े फाइनेंस चैनल्स के बारे में ना, चलो ठीक है, एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू पुट इन सो मच एफर्ट, यू मेड सो मच कंटेंट, यू नीड टू मेक योर इन्वेस्टमेंट बैक. आई अंडरस्टैंड कि थोड़ा मोरालिटी साइड में रखना पड़ता है, बट जैसे कि क्रिप्टो स्पॉन्सर्स ले आते हैं या कोई म्यूचुअल फंड हाउसेस के स्पॉन्सर्स आ जाते हैं, इट्स लाइक एट दैट पॉइंट you don't know who your viewer is really, right? वो बंदे के पास कोई आइडिया ही नहीं है कि कैसे इन्वेस्ट करना होता है, कहाँ इन्वेस्ट करना होता है. You would better off be telling him कि सीधा यार कोई भी इंडेक्स फंड उठा दो, because mutual fund भी every 3 years it keeps changing which is the best mutual fund, and then these people at the peak of 2021 they'll invest in a small cap mid cap mutual fund. So, and they'll be like 3-4 साल का तो 23-33% के गए and all that. पागल है, अभी तो मस्त पैसे बनने वाले.
Which is the best stock to buy in terms of a news agency in India right now?
TV 18, bro.
Any day.
Any day. Viacom TV 18, go for it. All day.
Like, that's where you draw the line. आंखें बंद करके अभी लगाते रहो.
मतलब, it's, see, at the end of the day, you obviously. So,
or you would say NDTV is a black horse right now.
नहीं, NDTV is done. मतलब NDTV अब खरीदे कोई फायदा नहीं है. You should have bought it like मतलब बहुत पहले.
अभी तो ओपन ऑफर के ऊपर ही चला गया ना, अब क्या पॉइंट?
अब तो कोई पॉइंट ही नहीं है खरीदने का उसको. ठीक है, it's done. But see, at the end of it, how we also, I mean, sort of invest. We don't do technicals. We are more like, we understand what the company is offering. We look at the financials. We look at, is it been a profit generating, EBITDA positive company for the past 5-10 odd years, right? What sort of a market share it has in the market, and that's how we invest. And we are, both of us also, I mean, our investment philosophy is not like कि हर दिन खोल के भाई stock market देख रहे हैं, मैं जो कहाँ ऊपर जा रहा है नीचे जा रहा है, because we don't have the time for that also.
And थोड़ा अपने competency में भी रहने का होता है. Like, even though whatever work I do, I have connections and understanding in the defense industry. So when all of this Make in India started happening, right, I knew that, okay, the government came out with this negative list. जिसमें वो over the next 5 years till 2025, this is back in 2020, so and so products they're gonna ban every year from importing, and इतने सालों से सब import हुए जा रहा है.
Somebody's got to make it.
हाँ, somebody's gonna make it. It's either gonna be the PSUs or the private industry, but private industry है ही नहीं. There is nobody that makes those products. यहाँ पे industry setup ही नहीं हुई है. This is one thing that I think government should have done better. They should have given incentives to the local manufacturers, जैसे कि अगर guns हो, ये हो, वो हो, tanks हो, इन सब के parts and वो सब के इंडस्ट्री सेटअप होने के लिए, बिकॉज कैपेक्स वैपेक्स करने को 5-6 साल लगता है. एंड इंडिया इज नॉट लाइक अ कंट्री लाइक अमेरिका और रशिया विच हैज एक्सपीरियंस इन वॉरफेयर. हमारे पास यहाँ पे वो मेटलर्जी और वो केमिस्ट्री का मतलब जड़ नहीं है.
Yeah.
तो
Because we have been conquered by the British for the longest time, and after that,
conquered
all
and then the rest of it we bought from Russia. तो खुद के पास expertise नहीं है.
experimentation processes ही नहीं है.
हाँ.
In fact, I was having this conversation with a doctor in the medical field that day, and he was telling me that the kind of gene studies that are happening in US right now, वो इंसान और बंदर का hybrid बना के ऐसे लोग बना चुके हैं.
हाँ.
And they've studied genomes to the point that India will take another 10,000 years to reach that, and by the time India reaches that point, like US will or
You know, South Korea में there's already a market where people give the genes of their pet and the company just gives you a replica in a year.
oh
हाँ. ये market है
So
South Korea
it's
में.
we have these discussions so many times, me and him, that लोग बोलते हैं yeah, I mean 80 हो गया, INR to dollar, it's going to go down, ये वो. See, it's never going to go down. It's only going to go up from here, right? And it's only going to get worse because see, at
it's
the
going
end
to
of
go
the day,
up and it's going to go worse. That's like
the two things nobody wants to hear. But at the end of the day, I mean, what other option? Like, how do I tell this to people that if you look at the debt to GDP of our country, and if you look at how much external funding that we have from foreign countries, I mean, it's appalling. And we have been taking debt to repay debt. That's the bottom line of it.
so India is heading to a doom.
I won't say it's heading to a doom or to something like Sri Lanka, but I mean 50% external funding है हमारे पास right now, right? Roughly close to that. So I mean, if that number racks up, eventually 60% हो गया, 70% हो गया, 80% हो गया, then we are headed in a very bad direction. That's how I see it. But I mean, see, at the end of it, मतलब that तो is going to go. मतलब 70 अभी 80 पे पहुंच गए, 79 point something चल रहा होगा, but it's going to go up. There is no two ways about it.
A little bit about Adani on the market, finance side, perhaps.
Okay.
That guy has gone insane.
Yeah.
Like $7 billion in 2014, and now somewhere around 140 billion dollars.
But that's only net worth, right? That's only a market capitalization.
That's only a market capital. It's not like hard
It's like
cash.
Elon Musk. He's the Elon Musk of India, right? ये तो हवा में पैसा है मतलब.
See, I mean, there are people with old money like Koch brothers, right? Which like really control the narrative.
Who are Koch brothers?
Koch brothers are like these oil barons. I guess they're into oil and a couple of diversified sectors in the US.
थोड़ा सा पास कर लो माइक को.
Yeah. All good?
Okay, ना?
So they're diversified into a couple of things in the US, and they pretty much, I mean, none of their companies are public. Alright, so they're not like कि listed है उनकी companies, listed नहीं है companies. They're privately held companies, and these guys literally own like a bunch of cash, right? Like मार्केट में अगर तुम्हारे स्टॉक की वैल्यू कुछ है, उसके बेसिस पे तुम्हारे को अगर कोई मैं नेटवर्थ असाइन कर देता हूँ, दैट डजंट मीन कि यू हैव दैट, मतलब तिजोरी खोलोगे तो कैश पड़ा हुआ है. दैट्स नॉट द सीन, राइट? It's very way far from that, right?
Like Joe Rogan अभी बता रहा था that the kind of cash he has seen with people in Dubai.
Yeah.
Because they're
That's
like,
hard cash. That's hard cash. Like today, if you tell me Zomato's founder is उसकी 100 million की net, I'll be like, dude, like that guy is probably living somewhere in Delhi. ठीक है, I mean, he's living in Delhi and whatnot, but he doesn't have hard cash, यार. He's still an employee in the company with 8%, और तुम्हें 8% की value तुमने इतनी कर दी है, and you're saying कि he's a multi-millionaire. He's not.
But your entire career is based on the fact that what is the net worth of a company.
Yeah.
So,
but that's for the investors, na.
So in that angle, how do you think about the fact that Adani अब मतलब कुछ नहीं है, मतलब he only has net worth because of his stock, and sure he has a good revenue stream from certain investments that he has made.
Yeah.
But at the same point of time, we now live in a far more evolved world where you can use one net worth of a company to leverage a takeover, like it happened with Elon Musk taking over Twitter. He didn't have hard cash.
Yeah. No, so leverage buyouts have been there since Andrew Carnegie. I mean, like Carnegie Mellon University के time से यार वो तो मतलब, and that guy did it like without any equity, without any like, so leverage buyouts have been around for a very long time. And LBOs, KKRs, for example, the firm KKR has been based on leverage buyouts. Junk bonds uthao. If you look at this story of RJR Nabisco, how it was, you know, the takeover was a failed takeover because they overvalued the business. Junk bonds is basically जैसे हमारा money market है, वहाँ से तुमने cheap debt raise कर लिया and then you bought a company. It's just like a leverage buyout. You take debt in order to buy a company, right?
I think it can be remotely similar to what happened with like Elon Musk and Twitter. Adani का और NDTV का भी ऐसा होगा.
नहीं यार, I mean, see this again. I mean, you have to look
कुछ
into
पैसा नहीं है, छोटा मोटा पैसा है.
यार मतलब see, मतलब at the end of it, अगर debt भी कोई ले, see, any smart guy will take debt in order to buy a company.
Yeah.
You would be stupid if you would invest your own equity to buy a piece of property, a piece of asset, or a cash producing thing like a business. Because see, अगर मेरे पास 3 करोड़ आज हैं तो मैं 10 करोड़ की रियल एस्टेट खरीदूंगा रेंटल, ठीक है. दिस इज द ब्रेन्स बिहाइंड इट. 3 करोड़ की इक्विटी डालूंगा, 70% लोन लूंगा मैं, 10 करोड़ की मैं रियल एस्टेट खरीदूंगा विच विल बी रेंटल एंड देन थ्रू द रेंट आई विल बी एबल टू सर्विस द डेट बिकॉज इट्स अ कैश फ्लो प्रोड्यूसिंग एसेट, राइट. तो सेम चीज़ इफ आई अप्लाई टू बिजनेस, अगर अडानी के पास आज 300 करोड़ हैं तो वो ऑब्वियसली ही इज गोइंग टू, यू नो, 700 करोड़ का डेट ले लेगा वो उस पर, यू नो. So that's how people at that scale or any smart businessman would look at it. He's not going to put hard equity, hard-earned cash to buy something.
What do you think NDTV's surviving chances are as of this moment to resist the takeover?
Very grim, yaar. मतलब.
Like by grim, do you mean like 0% or there is like legal issues aside? Perhaps let's hope that some news broadcasting commission of the government of India comes into action. It's like nahi, ye nahi ho sakta, because like they certainly don't have rules for corporations owning news channels as of this moment.
Yeah.
And because they don't, we are living in a situation where every organization, including the newspaper, the traditional media, even online platforms such as Quint and all these things, they are owned by either Ambani or Adani or maybe some institution that we might not even know about.
Yeah.
And 10 साल पहले conspiracy theories सुनते थे that every newspaper in the world is owned by one person, like things like that used to be there. And you clearly say that the chances are very grim.
Yeah.
Wow, like this podcast feels like a self-feeding depressive rant about, oh my god, I know.
नहीं, but यार मतलब at the end of the day, I mean, what are you going to do with somebody who's got such amazing representation in terms of battery of lawyers, like the best law firm, ठीक है. What's his Karan's wife's name? Paridhi Adani, I think. The Karan Adani's wife, Paridhi Adani, who is also a partner in bloody Cam. Like everything is sorted for them. They're not related by contract, brother. They're related by blood. You know, so when people are related by blood, they perform on a different level altogether. So it goes behind the point. मतलब I don't think this NDTV मतलब कुछ उनके पास है, मतलब they're done. Yeah,
it's their death and it's written and now there is no possibility.
I feel it'll be a very slow death.
Gradual death.
Very slow.
Slow death for Prannoy Roy and Radhika Roy. Let's see how much value. What do you think Adani sees in terms of a value by taking over NDTV? Sure, he's expanding his company AMG and taking over the media space, maybe buying more platforms.
यार देखो, NDTV is a EBITDA positive company, number 1, ठीक है. कैश फ्लो जनरेट कर रही है कंपनी, ठीक है. तो साफ है कि मतलब अगर even if they bring in some sort of a different narrative, some sort of different angle to NDTV, it's still going to survive. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि अभी 80 करोड़ का EBITDA कर रही है अचानक से कल
EBITDA कर रही है.
हाँ, EBITDA.
What is EBITDA? EBITDA is like a term.
EBITDA is a term. It's a earning
Post
before.
expenses.
हाँ, you can say cash flow, ठीक है. मतलब अच्छा कर रही है यार कंपनी. तो मतलब एट द एंड ऑफ द डे अगर इन्हें खरीद भी ली कंपनी, लास्ट मैक्स टू मैक्स क्या हो जाएगा, मतलब थोड़ा मतलब कम हो जाएगा थोड़े दिनों के लिए. बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इफ देर आर राइटी व्यूअर्स हु आर सीइंग अदर चैनल्स एंड दे गेट टू नो कि भाई अडानी ने NDTV खरीदी, दे माइट एज वेल जस्ट कम बैक एंड स्टार्ट सीइंग अडानी एज वेल. सो आई थिंक हाउ दे मस्ट हैव फ्रेम्ड द डील ऑल्सो इन देयर माइंड वुड हैव बीन कि at the end of the day, we want to have some media influence. Like, Ambani has some media influence through TV 18, Money Control and all of these platforms. We also need to have some sort of a media angle to our conglomerate. And they said that, why not let's go ahead with NDTV. And perhaps it might have been a very super conflict of interest for Ambani through VCPL कि यार मैं तो TV 18 कर रहा हूँ, NDTV भी कर लूँगा तो मतलब थोड़ा conflict of interest हो जाएगा. So Adani came into the picture. Is like bloody chalo.
मैं ले लेता हूँ
bro.
There's a nice chai conversation between Ambani and Adani going on right now. यार तू ले ले यार कोई
यार
नहीं.
तू ले ले यार छोड़ना यार.
हाँ क्योंकि पीटीआई अभी थोड़े टाइम में हम वैसे ही खरीद लेंगे तो पहले प्राइवेट ले लेते हैं फिर सरकार वाला ले लेंगे.
So फिर that could have happened. I mean, they could have been like, ठीक है, this is a good inlet, and then perhaps, I mean, we can full blown created have a very right sort of a narrative going on there. I mean, nothing against right or left narrative. Okay, I mean, like
organizations, even when things are not going in your favor politically, it becomes an outlet to put out.
But then with the
stuff.
political
यार,
affiliations you
Adani-
have,
Nee, I'm saying something goes wrong, you don't know.
well,
And it does not have to be national also, right?
everybody is now just absorbing the fact that it's going to change.
यार एक और
NDTV
चीज ना,
मरेगा.
एक और चीज समझो. अडानी के पास FMCG कंपनी अडानी विल्मर, ठीक है, वो बेंचेस उसी की ऐड चलाता रहेगा यार. अपने चावल बेच देगा वो. चावल बेच रहा है वो. ये भी तो कर सकता है वो. He'll be like कि भाई ठीक है, वो चावल ही बेच लेते हैं.
It'll be funny to see Adani buying NDTV for the purpose of running
Just
चावल का ad.
advertising, चावल की ऐड चल रही है.
Sure, like, but कोई कह नहीं सकता अडानी क्या करेगा because मैं खुद हिला हूँ. Like, so I study corporate structures when it comes to like my practice as a lawyer. मैं companies के networks देखता हूँ.
Yeah.
And it usually pops up like, okay, the center person is let's say this person.
Yeah.
तो इसकी ये companies हैं.
Right.
And then like उन companies के ये directors हैं.
Yeah.
तो I form a grid of everything like online tools के से भी और अपने आप भी कर लेता हूँ मैं. Adani has the most organized structure that I've seen in the Indian market. Like more organized than Reliance as of today.
Yeah.
And मैं खुद देख के हैरान हो गया that how like each and every department is like segregated. Like if it's like 3 people who are involved with him in a media extension of his entire corporation. So these 3 people will be the only ones collectively owning वो सारी organizations. And then if it's like FMCG, then it will be something else.
Yeah.
So probably I think if Adani becomes the richest man in the world, India is surely headed to a far more corporatized and capitalist economy जहाँ पे आज से 10 साल पहले BPO में नौकरी में जाते थे तो अब लोग अडानी के सेंटर्स में जाएंगे and it's going to be a different ball game altogether.
Well, I mean, if you got good representation, it comes down to that, bro.
Wow, man, you really like.
It comes down to good representation.
What has been your experience with like good representation fucking your company or any other company over a deal?
Oh, dude, like it happens so many times. I mean, like we've worked with Trilegal, we've worked with Khaitan, right? And if these people are with your side, I mean, you can literally piss in the fucking open. I mean, like that's how you walk in with a fucking big dick, dude. Like you're like, ठीक है, अब क्या कर लोगे यार तुम? You know, you today you go and you buy a business which is half your size, and you have bloody Khaitan on. Like, have you heard of this board meeting conversation that happened at Bharat Pe, where Ashneer Gover was on the call, and then they got this bloody partner. I don't know which big law firm, but big time law firm partner was there. He's like, yeah, I'm also on the call. And then Ashneer Gover, he's threatening me, and the investors got a partner of a law firm to threaten him. What I'm trying to say, it just creates that aura, yaar. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have somebody, a good legal brain with you on a deal, or advising you on how to go about things, obviously you're going to make wiser decisions. You're going to make more, structured organizations at the end of the day. तो वो सब तो होगा ही ना यार. There's no debating that.
So Prannoy Roy and Radhika, in conclusion, Prannoy Roy and Radhika Roy have clearly not been surprised. They should have, in all probability, with their battery of lawyers on their side, would have foreseen कि ऐसा होने वाला है.
Ideally should have. Yeah.
Either he's an idiot or he's probably somebody not fit to run a business as of this moment. So he deserves this. Like, that's clear.
Yeah, ED raids में busy रहेगा.
Hey, come on, man. That's like giving sympathy to someone who has like all the resources available. Prannoy Roy आज के time पे वो आदमी है. If he dials up any lawyer, it's not like the call will not get returned. Like the call will not only just get returned, but शायद अगले 1 घंटे में even Cam नहीं होएगा तो Sam आ जाएगा. मतलब it's like that. Like
भाइयों को लड़वा दो.
हाँ.
You got Cam, got Sam. Fuck you.
It happens all the time. Sam and Cam fight.
Yeah.
and free press is probably through the traditional methods
Yeah.
dying. Like it's dying, it's over. Like the game's over.
Yeah.
And self-funded organizations such as the Print, the Wire, Caravan, all these investigative journalistic pursuits made by individuals who have faced the brunt of corporate culture fucking over the entire media space by blackout, by censorship, by certain lines that are not supposed to cross is over. I think that was fairly good on NDTV. Tell us a little bit of shit happening in the finance world. How did the Shark Tank change the way people have, like clients have started talking to you about मेरी company का ऐसा करवा दो या वैसा करवा दो?
I mean, valuations have been absurd, right?
What's the most absurd valuation that you have come like?
Absurd valuation that I've come across.
Yeah.
I don't know, yaar, 40 times EV to EBITDA, 40x. I've come across businesses which have just an idea and they believe कि it's $1 million idea. All sorts of bullshit, yaar. But you know, at the end of the day, it's just, you know, so if you're looking at matured businesses, फिर वो आ जाता है कि यार मैंने इतना time दिया है, मैं 20 साल से हूँ, 30 साल से I've been doing this business and today I'm going to sell it to you. So I want कि 30 साल की जितने पैसे डाले हैं, वो मेरे को आज मिल जाए. That doesn't happen, right? Markets are going to pay you for what you are today.
But majority of the investors who invest in a company look at it not just as something that they want to add to the company, but even at the time of investment, उनका exit strategy already
Exactly.
बना हुआ होता है.
Exactly.
कि मैं 400 लगाऊंगा, इसको इतना help करूंगा, and then I'm gonna get out at 4,000 or whatever the expectation is
their
at that point
expectations
of
are.
time.
Yeah. That's always there, yaar. I mean, but this absurdity is really high in our country, and that's the reason you see very less M&A activity in our country. Like so we have, okay, so this is a fun fact. We have the highest number of MSMEs of all countries, right? But why don't we have like a lot of M&A activity? MSMEs बहुत ज़्यादा हैं. Obviously, they should consolidate and people should, you know, at the same time consolidate these MSMEs और एक large company बना लो यार. That's what has been happening in the US and in Canada or in Europe. But at the end of the day, number one accounting practices बेकार हैं. तो you'd never know कि मतलब company actually कितना बना रही है. Right? Obviously, there's circulation of black money, which is a big issue. And then third is, nobody is experienced with respect to, you know, buying and selling of businesses because वो कभी conversation होती नहीं है. Today, if you ask your father, or let's say if your father had a business, if you ask your father like, Dad, would you sell it? Like, he'll be like, छूती आ गया बहन चोद, मैं तेरे को दूंगा ना business. You know?
Plus, I think India has just hit the startup culture. Like,
Yeah.
अभी
So-
मतलब शायद 6-7 साल पहले आया है. So
Correct.
the degree of innovation that's required in a business is not really there so far as the majority of the people who are starting up. Like अभी क्या 2-3 साल पहले से food business शुरू हुआ है.
Yeah.
तो हर चूतिया जिसको food business खोलना होता है वो एक तंदूर उठा लेगा, 2 बंदे हायर कर लेगा, बोलेगा चल टिक्के लगा और उसके बाद बोलेगा कि भाई मेरा रेस्टोरेंट है.
Exactly.
And you enter the food business line.
Simple.
You want to start clothing line. अच्छा एक काम करते हैं, घर से 5 लाख रुपए का उधार लेते हैं, दुकान पे किराया लेंगे 60,000 रुपए की कोई अच्छी लोकेलिटी में और बुटीक खोल देंगे, and that's the extent of like my business.
Exactly.
Shark Tank changed the way that people were looking at businesses कि अब कुछ नया होना चाहिए. There should be innovation, and then other factors such as improving accounting practices. Of every bill that you're supposed to issue is supposed to be a pakka bill, GST, etc. Compliance is ready to not just fuck you but also like give you a system.
Yeah.
And we as Indians are like very good. Like हम कह देते हैं system ठीक
अलग है
है,
भाई.
दिखाने के लिए एक अलग सिस्टम चलता है. एंड यू आर स्टार्टअप एंटरप्रेन्योर्स योरसेल्फ नो कि अब तुम थोड़ी क्या कहते हैं बिल बनाओगे अगर तुम्हारा 60 रुपए का कोई खाने का ऑर्डर आएगा या कुछ आएगा. Because essentially we're a cash economy. Like the black money in this country is probably more than the white money in the first place.
Exactly. Even if you go to tier 2 cities like Hisar, you go to Hisar, Sonipat, you go to these places, and you'll be surprised. I mean, the amount of cash dealings that happen there. I mean, you'll be surprised and you look at businesses and you'll realize कि the amount of top line that they do. अगर वो 20 करोड़ report कर रहे हैं, probably they are like 10 करोड़ like जो वो report नहीं कर रहे is all black, it's all cash.
Black.
You know, and that's why, again, with startup founders, I mean, the road to reach there, to get there is so tough.
India is a hotspot for cash exchanges.
Yeah.
Crypto में मतलब I was at a point of time trying to think that crypto like 3-4 years back crypto हवाला कैसे चलेगा. And it was like a fun thing that कि Bitcoin कोई आदमी खरीदता है तो how are they gonna like replace all the हवाला systems in the world, because now you don't need like an organization. हवाला में तुम्हें बंदा चाहिए होता है भरोसे का, कोई यहाँ से बोलेगा अच्छा मेरे 400 करोड़ रुपए दे देना या 500 करोड़ रुपए दे देना. तो जब मैं पढ़ रहा था then I met a friend, like मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैं क्रिप्टो का कैश बना रहा हूँ, कैसे दे रहा हूँ. मेरे को कैश मिल जाता है रोज पुरानी दिल्ली से, मैं कैश अपना निकाल देता हूँ और मेरे को उनको अकाउंट में परसेंटेज फ़ी काट के अपना ट्रांसफ़र कराना होता है. मैं उनका ऑर्डर्स के थ्रू प्रोसेस कराता रहता हूँ. एंड दैट गाइड, उसके बाद खाने के पैसे नहीं थे, मतलब 4-5 साल पहले कि वो हाल था कि वो पैसे गरीबों की तरह भीख मांग के बियर पीता था. आज से उसकी डेली ट्रांजैक्शन 150 करोड़ की है. लाइक दैट्स द काइंड ऑफ शिट इंडिया गिव्स यू. लाइक अच्छा टेक ओके, लाइक अब मैं बताता हूँ कि जुगाड़ क्या होंगे इसमें.
Exactly, bro. Exactly.
ये तो तुम्हारे सारे Mauritius funds is all black money that's coming in back into the stock market.
Never know. I mean, it's really hard. Like हम लोग even at our corporate levels, I mean, we think कि there's some कुछ तो गिमिक चल रहा है भाई, मतलब कोई इधर से पैसे फनल करे कुछ
नहीं चलता है, और हवलदास के थ्रू जाके स्विस बैंक से आके वापस मॉरिशस में ही आ जाता है.
या आई मीन हो रहा होगा यार,
स्टॉक्स में जो करना होता है वो वहीं खेलते हैं.
Exactly.
करके अपना पैसा निकालो.
What's your quirkiest thing that you've seen like with the finance sector?
What's my
Quirkiest thing that you've witnessed in the finance sector with people?
नहीं, I don't know what you're.
Like the way he said that आड़े टेढ़े valuations पे
आड़े टेढ़े valuations, brother. Like we were negotiating deals in tier 2 cities when I was looking at deals personally. We have been told so many times कि तो आप अंडर वैल्यू कर दो कंपनी, बाकी सारा कैश में दे दो. 100 करोड़ की वैल्यूएशन है कंपनी की, मतलब जो एग्री हुई हमारी, इसलिए कि आप अंडर वैल्यू कर दो, 80 करोड़ दे दो कैश में. So I mean this happens, and I was at that point in time so naive. I was like यार मतलब भाई मतलब you know बैंक के पास जाएंगे. See, getting a loan in India very challenging, everybody knows, right? Even if you have all the processes in place, India is like you'll realize कि there are middlemen in everything. Even if you have to procure a loan, like today a corporate has to procure a loan, you would think कि वो बैंक के पास जाके खुद ले लेते होंगे.
नहीं,
you have a fucking syndicator in between. The syndicator lies between the bank and the corporate.
And syndicator के भी अपने एजेंसी होती है.
Syndicator is
एजेंसी के अपने एजेंट होते हैं, एजेंट के सब एजेंट होते हैं जो आपके घर पे फाइनली आते हैं.
exactly.
Like
So it's a well-oiled machinery. I mean, it's not
a well-oiled machinery. Like I'll be very honest about
I
that.
to see it as a well-oiled machinery. यार.
क्योंकि सबको पैसा मिलता है.
सबको मिल रहा है. Everybody is getting rich. यार. It's paying everybody off.
But then वो हवा में हो रहा है ना, मतलब at the end of the day you need a cup of chai, but you're having so many middlemen as if like अच्छा मेरा शक्कर डालने वाला आदमी एक है, दूध डालने वाला आदमी एक है, गैस जलाने वाला आदमी एक है.
Yeah.
Cumulatively all of it is adding up to a stupid cup of chai.
Yeah.
जो कि तू बोलेगा भाई बना के ले आ यार, मैंने पी ली खत्म.
And that's why our businessmen are ripping us off. It's exactly why it's happening, brother. But you have to understand कि भाई क्या मतलब क्या और option है यार. मतलब today you start a business, right? Even if you incorporate your company today, you go to a company secretary and you say कि मुझे ये नाम चाहिए. Let's say you want Anshul चौधरी प्राइवेट लिमिटेड. ही सेज नहीं ये तो टेकन है, बट आप एक काम करो 10,000 रुपए दे दो, आपको दिलवा दूंगा, नाम दिलवा दूंगा. बट सी एट द एंड ऑफ इट it's also convenience, but at the same time it's also you know pathetic. I mean it's a mix of both.
हाँ, because पहली बार में हाँ कौन बोलता है कि
see
ऐसा
when
हो
you
जाएगा?
reach to a level you will find it very convenient
because you have to deliver that value.
Exactly.
तुम्हें बोलना है कि भाई मेरा चार्ज अगर 50,000 रुपए का है इस काम का तो 50,000 रुपए में मैं वो करके दिखाऊंगा जो नॉर्मली नहीं होगा.
Exactly. But what I'm getting at is कि when you're at Adani or Ambani level, this is convenience for you. Right? I mean, this is convenience. Nah? At the end of it, you can bribe few people. I'm not saying they bribe people, okay, guys? All right. I think they're very straight gentlemen.
No, you're just insinuating that.
So, but I mean, it's convenient for them, yaar. Matlab, like, it's which other country can you do this? Like, you know, tell me.
I mean, every other
US, I mean, still, I mean, if you and a company go to trial, I mean, the other guy still has a fair shot. If today you go to trial against Ambani or Adani, I mean, you're pretty much fucked. I mean, like everybody knows that for it. Like nobody's debating that, यार. मतलब कहाँ से तुम बचोगे?
Well, I think you've given us a lot of bits about how the situation is fucked. Why will NDTV not come into the picture and even play its saddest card? Then a clear indication about
India Sony की चिड़िया, everything's good. Everything's good. We're still here.
Well,
Everything's
as
good.
long as we are getting our paychecks on time
Oh yeah.
and there is a need for the country to have a revolution from a survival phase to now an innovational, evolutionary phase, I think the place is good.
Yeah.
And that's why we do encourage people who want to go out and do a podcast. Like, I'm glad you guys came on this one, and
Exactly.
I'm sure you guys have more business and more pressing things to do as of this moment itself. But at the same point of time, you guys, like, come on, don't be modest.
अभी तो chill करना है.
अभी तो chill करने आए यार.
Chill करना है.
I'm glad. So
I mean, you have more pressing things to do. You've got a bakery upstairs.
well, it keeps happening.
Yeah.
मैं अपना Google Calendar.
He's got more pressing things
Lots
to
of
do.
stuff to do.
In conclusion, I think I would conclude it by saying that I personally, against the conclusion of the discussion, think that there is absolutely no way that this was not done in collusion with each other. Like, this was something that was not just well planned. Matlab Prannoy Roy, Radhika Roy, Ambani, Adani, if they never had a conference together and this all, like, the way they're projecting it कि ये नहीं हो सकता था, हमें नहीं पता था, is absolutely sham. मतलब if you have a 5 crore rupee revenue generating business, you have so many lawyers behind you कि ऐसा नहीं होगा. उसका तो अच्छा खासा business था और one of the leading agencies, तो they are absolutely lying in my opinion. Like,
नहीं हो सकता.
is it the death of institutional media? I mean, that happened quite some time back. Ravish Kumar said it कि institutional media is over. So go ahead, become creators, make a news channel and cover a topic and yeah, thrive. That's probably the end of it. Fun podcast. That is definitely a lot of finance that I'll have to filter out in the edit. But I thank you so much. Thank you,
Yeah,
Ronit. And
Got it right.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Danish. I think we'll conclude it at that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's call it a day and let's call it adjourned.
वाह.
क्या ये भी करना है क्या end में?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Awesome, brother.